Hi, I'm Marika. Thank you for joining. This is Yoga with Marika. Today we are doing a Yin-Inspired Happy Hips practice. So if you have them available, we will be utilizing 2 blocks and a blanket. You can always improvise using books or towels or extra blankets. So go ahead, grab whatever you need right now. And then when you're ready, find a comfortable seated position. So your seated position can look like mine. I'm on a blanket with my legs crossed. If that doesn't work for you, you can always kind of make the cross less, and you can even sit on your knees. And you can always use whatever props you want. So find that comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. And close the eyes. And we'll just take a moment to get settled, to leave the noise of the outside world and to come into our space and come into our breath and come into our body. Think about drawing the ears back over the shoulders. The crown of the head reaches up and the seat becomes a little bit heavier. One more full breath cycle. And the eyes open if they were closed. We'll move into some hip circles with cat-cow style breathing. So as you inhale, you're going to roll to one side, press the heart forward and up, and then roll to the other side, down and back. And then how can you use your breathing to move here? So inhaling forward and then exhaling back. We'll go one more this side. Inhale, exhale. Stopping at the forward portion of the movement. Hold. Deep inhale and then exhale to the other side. So we start to shatter this illusion that our breathing and our movement are separate entities. Really, that's so much of our yoga practice, is tuning in to using our breath to move. One more time, back to the side, forward hold, deep inhale, and then as you exhale, just really round back. Tuck the chin to the chest. Maybe even hunch the shoulders, and then back to neutral. So if you were sitting on a blanket, you can move it out of the way. You don't ever have to get off the blanket, but for me and my hips, it works better. And we're just gonna come into this seated Baddha Konasana. I want you to have your angle of your legs a little bit more open, so your heels are pretty far away from your body. And go ahead and grab a block or two. And sitting nice and firm on your sits bones, and then we'll just kind of melt forward. And instead of fighting the natural curve of your middle back, I want you to allow the back to round. I'm going to use a block here. For me, it works kind of stacking on my ankle portion, and then I just let my forehead drop. You may need like a lot of blocks. There's no requirement on how far you have to go down. So find what's comfortable. Breathe into the stretch, and with every exhale, can you become a little bit more relaxed? We'll take one more full breath cycle here. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and bring yourself up. So in a traditional yin class, you would hold that closer to about 5 minutes. But for the sake of the video, we're not going to hold as long. But if you wanted, you could always press pause, stay in the pose however you see fit, and then join me pressing play again. Moving on, we're just going to stretch the legs wide. Nice to have your block handy here as well. You may have to actually take the flesh of your butt and kind of walk it back. And then make the legs nice and strong. If it's irritating to keep your legs straight, you can always put blankets under your knees so that they don't lock out. But you find what's comfortable, and then we'll just melt forward any distance. And when you get to the place that you feel like you can hold for a few breath cycles, see if you can just relax the head and the neck. One more full breath cycle here. And then go ahead and just gently walk yourself back up. Allow yourself to kind of re-center. And we're going to come into a little lateral side stretch. So we're going to twist over to the right. I like to inhale, lift my spine nice and long, twist over to the left. Take my right forearm down to my thigh, stretch left arm up, and then I think it's really nice to have the little support for the head, but you're more than welcome to stretch the left arm really long. If it works for you, you could potentially reach and grab your foot. My lower back doesn't really like that, so I stay more lifted, and I just keep thinking about pressing my left hip down and then reaching the left armpit up. Make sure you're not hunching through the right shoulder and never clenching through the teeth. And on your next inhale, back through center, go ahead and get yourself situated. Really long inhale, stretch over, or twist rather, over to the right. Left forearm comes down, right arm extends up. Can keep the arm lifted or take the hand behind the head. I call this my little yogic headrest. It's my favorite thing right now. If you are like a lot of people and you store a lot of stress in your head and neck, sometimes it's just really nice to have the support. As you inhale, can you think about pressing the right side of your butt down? And as you exhale, can you lengthen through the right side of the body, the torso really? And then back up through center. And we'll just find our way into a tabletop position. You can move whatever props out of the way that you need. You will want your blocks handy. We're just going to move through a couple cat-cows. I am actually going to flip my hands so my fingers face towards my knees. A little bit different variation for the hands, but it is a nice stretch for the forearms. So as you inhale, let the belly drop. Chest presses forward. And as you exhale, everything starts to round. Chin tucks into the chest. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. One more time, inhale, tailbone rises, heart presses forward, and then exhale, scooping the tailbone under, navel into spine, chin to chest, and then go ahead and bring the left leg forward, so left knee directly on top of the left ankle. Take your hands on top of your thigh, and we'll just start to press the hips forward. So if you're really flexible, it's easy to want to just collapse into the hip. So try not to do that. Think about drawing the back knee towards the front heel and the front heel towards the back knee. Soften the shoulders down away from the ears. Maybe a little tuck of the chin so you're not like a little Pez dispenser. And then can you find more engagement through the outer hip muscles, like you're pulling everything into midline. Pressing the hips forward. Pressing the sternum up, and then can you draw the shoulder blades down the back. And from here, we're just going to walk the hands to the inside of that foot, walking maybe that knee back a little bit. Always welcome to stay up here. If it works for you, you could drop the forearms. If you feel too much compression in the hip, you just don't do that. I'm going to stay lifted. And then back to that engagement, like you're drawing the right knee to the front heel and the front heel to the back knee. And tune in. How can you use your breathing to help you find a little bit more malleability here? Maybe a little bit more space. And then we'll take the right hand, place it a little bit diagonal and off your mat. Left hand comes to the inner thigh. I'm going to tuck my back toes under and then twisting open to the left. From here, you can stay exactly like this, or you can start to elevate the back foot up off the ground. I find a better stretch in my hip flexors if I don't bend as far. If you want to get more into the quads, you could definitely grab onto the foot. I'm going to focus more on my hip flexors today, so I'm just going to kind of barely lift it and then find that engagement, squeezing back knee towards front heel and front heel towards back knee. And then can you squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you? And gently that back knee or the back foot drops to the ground. Come back up, kind of recenter yourself here, and then we'll straighten the front leg. Go ahead and grab your 2 blocks. So we'll start by just coming into this little half split. The toes are going to flex back towards the face. You can stay really high up here on the blocks. There's no requirement to go further down. You want to get a nice strong quadricep muscle engagement. So if you're at a place that you have to bend your knee, just come up higher. And then as you get a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more warmed up, maybe you drop down lower and maybe you don't. That's totally cool too. And then think about drawing the left hip back, maybe the right hip kind of forward, and the left pinky toes draw back to the face. We'll take one more full breath cycle here. And then we're just going to walk over across the front leg to the left and drop your pinky toes to the mat. So you may find that you have to come up higher. And that's totally cool. If you're able to get down further, you can lower the blocks. You can always lower your hands to the ground. But do try to keep the pinky toe down to the ground. One more full breath cycle here. And then we'll switch. Just gently take your left knee back to your right. The right foot comes forward, hands up to your thigh, and then we'll press into our hip flexor stretch. Keeping some engagement, imagine drawing your back knee to your front heel and your front heel to your back knee. And how can you use your breath to find more space? From here, the hands come to the inside of that foot. You'll probably have to walk your right foot out to the right a little bit. And then you can stay up high onto your hands. You may have to walk the back knee back a little bit. If this is plenty, you just stay right here. You're always welcome to drop down to the forearms. My hips don't always love that, so I stay a little bit more lifted. And I just think about drawing my left hip forward and down while keeping that engagement, right heel to back knee to right heel. And then the left hand comes off the mat a little bit. The right hand comes to your inner thigh. Soft bend in that left elbow so you're not locking the arm out. And then maybe a little lift, maybe a big lift, your choice. Pressing the left hips down. Keep imagining pulling left knee to right heel and right heel to left knee. And then gently that foot comes down. Make your way back. Go ahead and grab your blocks. Re-square the hips. The right toes draw back towards your face. Nice long back. And then you walk forward, whatever distance. There's no gold medal if you get your forehead and your shin to touch, by the way. The goal here should be functionality. So what are your goals with your yoga practice? Mine is to be able to be strong and balanced and to continue keeping that strength and balance as I get older. So if you feel stretch way up higher than I do, there is no shame in that game. And if you feel stretched by having to drop your chest down, there's no shame in that game either. You do what is best for your body, always. One more inhale and one more exhale. You may have to come up a little bit. Allow the pinky toe side of the foot to fall to the ground. Walk over to the right. I'm going to drop my hands down to the ground. You may have to stay up on your blocks. You may not. This is such a good one if you're stuck standing all day or sitting all day. Or really if you're just a human being, this one feels good. One more full breath cycle. And then gently make your way back. Now the right knee back. We'll do one little round of cat-cow. I'll keep my fingers facing forward this time. Inhale, belly drops. Tailbone rises. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. And then exhale, really round. Press the ground away. We're going to do one little down dog just to kind of lengthen everything out. So fingers are spread wide, but then I add a little bend in my thumbs. This keeps the arches of your hands from collapsing. Tuck the toes and then press it back. Down dog. And walk it out here. Move around. Do what you need to do to get comfortable. You can always bend your knees here. In fact, usually, the beginning of my yoga practice, I do keep them bent. Or you can always take them a little bit wider. That one feels nice too. Press the weight out through the fingertips and evenly distributing the weight between your feet and your arms. And then go ahead, gently touch down. Find your way back into a comfortable seat. You should have a lot of choices in your practice. So if ever I give you a pose and it doesn't work for you, you need to change it, you have the freedom to do that. The body tells us things all day long. And so much of this practice is learning how to listen. I thank you so much for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section. Or if there's anything that you are looking forward to doing, any sort of poses or different body parts you want to work into, let me know. Thank you again for being here. Have a good day.